Alberta is about to make history. We're on track to become the first province in Canada to use artificial intelligence to help draft legislation. And the first test case? The Alberta Whisky Act. Now, some people think this is controversial. I think it's common sense. Let me show you why. My colleague, Service Alberta Minister Dale Nally, has a mandate to create legislation that defines Alberta whiskey, which would give our local distilleries a protected designation they can market globally. Think about what Kentucky did with bourbon, what Scotland achieved with Scotch. These aren't just beverages, they're cultural ambassadors, economic engines, and sources of regional pride. And they're worth billions. Alberta has the raw materials, world-class grains, unique water sources, a rich distilling tradition. What we're missing is a legal framework. And the people who want this most? Our distillers. Keenan Pascal, CEO of Hanson Distillery in Edmonton, said he's excited about Alberta better representing its products internationally. He noted that an Alberta whiskey definition relates closely to the particular ingredients and environment in the province, and that this legislation represents another expansion of the amazing history of whiskey making. Dr. Jordan Ramey of Calgary's Burwood Distillery echoed the need to tell Alberta's whiskey story more effectively on the international stage. This is about economic opportunity. It's about jobs. It's about putting Alberta on the map. But here's the challenge. Our legislative agenda is packed. Our Legislative Council lawyers, the brilliant professionals who draft our laws, are overwhelmed with high-priority bills, budget legislation, healthcare reform, economic development initiatives. By the time we get around to it, drafting the Alberta Whisky Act the traditional way could take years. That's years our distillers would wait for the legal tools they need to compete globally. So we asked, what if we used modern technology to speed this up? This is where AI comes in. But, and this is important, we're not handing over the keys to a computer. Here's how it actually works. The AI analyzes existing whiskey regulations from around the world, Scottish whiskey laws, American bourbon standards, other Canadian regulations, Irish whiskey rules. It processes thousands of pages of legal text in hours instead of weeks. It identifies relevant provisions, suggests appropriate language, and drafts initial text based on proven regulatory frameworks, including an analysis of Alberta's legislative drafting standards. Then the humans take over. Alberta's legislative drafters review every clause. Legal experts from the Justice Minister's team examine it for errors or omissions. The standard cabinet process remains. Government caucus and cabinet must review and sign off. And ultimately, nothing becomes law without being introduced, debated, and voted on in the legislature. This process could reduce legislative development timelines by up to 80%. That means Alberta distillers could have the legal protections they need years sooner. Now, Alberta isn't just randomly experimenting. We're home to the Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute, or AMI, one of the top AI research centers in the world. We train some of the best and brightest AI experts on the planet. We have the expertise right here to do this safely and effectively. And here's what Randy Gable, a University of Alberta computing science professor and one of the world's leading AI researchers, had to say about legislators using AI. He said, humans drafting legislation have got it wrong for centuries, and the drafting of legislation is tedious, hard work. So, of course, you should use tools that help accelerate the drafting of legislation. To accelerate the creation of accurate legislation is a great goal. Legislators who don't use AI will be replaced by those who use AI. Think about that. This isn't some Silicon Valley hype. This is a serious researcher saying what should be common sense. Use the best tools available to serve the public better. And Alberta is leading on this. We checked with every other Canadian province and territory. None of them are using AI to help draft legislation. We're the first. Minister Nally chose this as our test case because, as he put it, this legislation doesn't involve any hearts or lungs. It's a low-risk opportunity to evaluate AI capabilities without the high stakes of healthcare or justice legislation. We're pioneering an approach that could revolutionize how governments work, making them faster, more efficient, and better able to serve citizens. Now, you might have heard that there's a recall petition against me, and one of their specific complaints? That I've advanced AI-generated legislation without public consultation. So let me address that directly. First, we haven't generated any legislation yet. We're in the drafting phase. We continue to include Alberta-based distillers in the process so they can provide feedback early and often. And before we pass any legislation, it will first go through the government's cabinet process, debate in the legislature, and ultimately a vote by all Alberta MLAs. Second, this isn't about bypassing consultation. It's about using modern tools to draft legislation more efficiently so we can actually deliver results for Albertans faster. The recall petitioner cites this innovation as a reason to remove me from office. I cite it as proof that we're a government that looks to the future, not the past, that we're willing to use the best available tools to serve the public, that we're committed to creating economic opportunities for Alberta businesses. I will continue to serve Strathcona Sherwood Park with that same forward-looking approach. So tell me what you think. Do you find AI use cases like this interesting? And what about the recall petition? Is it frivolous or justified? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay in the loop for more content just like this. Thanks for watching.